Good afternoon. Sarah here with Liberated Badass Leaders, and I'm out on one of my current favorite spots, the pier, and I've been watching this group of fish. And actually, I don't think I can show you. I thought I could show a picture of these fish, but it's these huge tarpon, I believe they are, and there's like 6 or 7 of them. And they're circling here in the water. You might be able to see them as they come back by here. I'll try to show you a picture of them. But it's interesting. I've been here for probably like 20 minutes watching them. And they're going from one side near the ocean down halfway to the pier, and then they're turning around and they're circling back. And it's a really interesting experience. I'm meditating, considering thoughtfully, running through a handful of things around leadership and my bigger picture mission and vision for myself and what I want to most contribute to the world, and also taking in all of the stuff that's been happening today, which is like the space shuttle launched a couple days late, but launched today successfully, at least as of now. And we're also experiencing outcry from the African American population and from people all over the country, frustrated and angry over the state of our understanding of race and our understanding of accepting each other and finding common ground as humans. Anyway, and so I'm watching these fish circling around, and I just got off the phone with someone, and she's been watching all my content. She's been following me for months, and she's watched me go through massive amounts of transformation and taking radical action in my life to make radical changes, like leaving my job and selling my home and getting rid of the clutter in my life in every way. And she reached out to me and was asking me a question and asking me if I had any feedback for her on joining with a group of people that was looking to have greater levels of accountability and to have a group that gets guidance, that has a leader that gets guidance and helps the group with setting plans for vision and future outcomes in every area of their life, in their business, in their personal life. Oh, here they are. Let's see. Yeah, super cool. So, as life would have it, right? Divine appointments, as I used to call them. I'm getting ready to start a group. An opportunity, a mastermind opportunity of sorts, of people who are leaders, who are entrepreneurs, who are business owners, who are therapists, coaches, who want to have a greater impact on the world and recognize within themselves that they need a leader, that they need someone that they can follow, who is maybe, I would say, slightly out ahead of them, and who has the skill set to hold others accountable, who has the skill set to challenge people, to challenge the mindset, and to challenge the beliefs that hold us back, the beliefs that get people stuck. And that I'm getting ready to start a group because I've recognized that my skills, that I have unique skills of holding people accountable and pushing them past their limits and challenging their notions of how things should get done or what they think the right way is. Sorry, there are people everywhere watching these fish. And so the fish are continuing to circle around in this very same spot. And so as I'm considering all of these thoughts and I'm putting together this plan for the best way to create this group, basically she and I just laid out a plan, fantastic plan, and I'm super excited about it. She was like, oh, am I the first person that you've talked to about actually putting it together? And like, who is ready to take that leap and do it? And I said, yes. So since you're the first one, you get to like basically set the stage, plan it. Obviously, I'm gonna make sure it works for me, but what would you need, right? And so we just threw the details together to get a really good framework of what would be most helpful. But I'm watching these fish and I'm aware that there is this so important concept and such an important awareness to be really sure that you know, one, who you're following, right? She made this great insight, like she could keep doing it alone and she'd be fine, but she knows that's not the best way. She knows doing it alone is not the best way, and she also knows that it's so important to have a leader who can help her to grow and become even better and more of who she is meant to be, because she wants to have an amazing impact on the world. And so she recognizes within herself that she needs that in her life. In order for her to get better, she needs to have someone who can help her be more than what she is right now. And so I was realizing that I have been procrastinating starting this group, starting this mastermind. And I've been talking about it for a hot minute. And I've talked about it with several other coaches and therapists, people who I would consider in my immediate industry, and a few other entrepreneurs, business owners who also recognize that need for leadership and that need for someone to push them and to hold them accountable. And so I am aware of my own procrastination, and one of the ways that I have been demonstrating procrastination, which is the thing I've been talking about all week, ironically, right? And that's the thing I love right now, is that I get this opportunity to like really focus in on what it is that I most need to learn. And of course, that thing that I most need to learn is the thing that the people around me also most likely need to be learning, and or that I draw in people into my life who also need to be learning the same thing that I need to be learning. So I love that, and just the way that energy works and the flow of life works. And so I was realizing, one, that I've been putting that off, and so I'm no longer putting that off, right? I got my first person in the group, and I'm ready to welcome and have more people join. Other helpers, leaders that want to be more than they are right now, and who truly recognize that they need someone to help them, and someone, not just any person, but like someone who's walking the walk, someone who is actually doing what they are talking about. And so like for me, one of the things that is important to me is that I have a coach. I have someone who's up out ahead of me, experts and other mentors that I work with. But I was realizing with these fish that the leader of this pack of fish, I feel like he's not sure what he's doing. There's some level of like uncertainty, I feel like, that's going on with the leader of this fish, of this pack. And it's also interesting, I guess, for me, I'm realizing just watching these fish swim around, like we were designed to live in packs, in herds, in families, and that it is so important that the leaders of our families, our packs, our herds, our businesses, our countries, that they be gifted with the talents of allowing the people that they're leading to become better than they already are, to truly become the people that they are meant to be, to access the skills and the strengths and the resources within them to be the person that they are meant to be. And that is not something that just comes naturally for everyone. It's not even something that we see in all of the people who are leaders in one capacity or another. There's actually a lot of really bad leaders. And there are actually a lot of leaders who don't know how to encourage the strengths in other people. There are a lot of leaders who lead with the mentality that you have to follow and do exactly what they're doing in order for you to be successful, or in order for you to be a good follower, or in order for you to be successful, that you have to follow and do exactly what they're doing. And the thing that I have been coming to the realization of over the past several months, and it's not necessarily a new concept, but something I've been meditating on quite a bit and really soaking in super consciously right now, is one of the true strengths of a leader, what I call a liberated badass leader, is the gift of teaching the people whom are following you how to truly become the person they are meant to be. How to help the people that you are leading, how to help them become and do the things that they were meant to do, which is not the same thing as you, as the leader. Like, we're not meant, as leaders, we're not meant to simply create little products, little offsprings of ourselves, right? I can remember a time when I used to think how cool it would be to have a little mini Sarah, right? Have a daughter that would be a little mini Sarah. And going through this process of conversation with at the time, my ex-husband, now my ex-husband, around this conversation of, we're not meant to have little Sarahs, and for him, little Tims. We're actually meant to create brand new human beings. So like the merging of two people, right? Two parents, without getting into the semantics and getting caught up in some of the details around who is giving birth, right? Because that's a whole nother topic for a whole nother video. But if you just go with the basic biological, you have two parents, and you're having two parents that are giving birth to, however that happens, two parents who are now pouring into a new life. The goal here is really to generate a new being, a third being, not a replica of the parents of the two, right? Not a replica, but a new being, a third being. It reminds me actually of Think and Grow Rich, and this concept of when two people get into a certain level of spiritual, elevated conversation, that the third mind appears. It's kind of in the same vein, ironically. I love how all of the stuff that I'm learning at one time manages to pull itself together and allows me to see across the board at all of these varying levels of insight and awareness. It's such a phenomenal experience that I absolutely love happening when I really get focused in and like obsessed, immersed in an experience of learning about something. So I was just thinking that through, like big picture, it's so important to really know who you're following and to have the discernment for you to choose to follow someone who is truly going to help you become more of you and better, like a more elevated you, versus following someone who is attempting to have you replicate them and or for you to become a mini version of them. So I don't know whether or not the leader of this particular pack of fish, I forget what groups of fish are called at this moment, feel free to pop it into the comments to remind me what a pack of fish is called, but I don't know if he knows where he's going, if he's just like taking the family on like a relaxing stroll around only this part of the ocean right now. But in my mind, as I personify for the fish what's happening with them, he seems lost and seems confused and uncertain of where to go. And I don't know if he's gotten stuck and he can't like figure out how to get out of this area, how to get past this area, how to like charge out back into the ocean, back out into the unknown waters. So many details I could personify for this group of fish, and it just pertains to so much going on right now in the world. Like, when people don't know who they're following, chaos ensues. When the people are looking to a leader, and the leaders are not people who truly understand how to lead, there's chaos. Yeah, there's chaos. And people get hurt. Now, of course, this is already happening every day. We're just in unique times right now where we're seeing it as collective experience. We've been seeing it for a hot minute now with the quarantine, and now we're seeing it, at least here in America, with the recent events over the past week, resulting in people expressing their anger and their frustration and their irritation with leaders falling short of the duty of leading in a way that allows for everyone to truly feel safe and feel heard. I certainly don't have the answers for that level of how to create safety and space for everyone to feel safe. But there are some definite basics that I feel that I do know. There are some definite basics that I definitely do know about how to lead for a group of people to feel the most connected and the most like they belong. And the thing that I know, and I'm going to do another video on this, but the thing that I know that I'm also meditating on and really considering carefully so that I'm able to provide the best content to you as possible. Coming up this next month, we're going to be doing, John and I are going to be doing a deep dive into this concept of belonging and connection. And reality is, what I've been thinking and what I've gotten to so far is this topic on belonging is so important on so many levels that I hadn't actually even fully understood until just recently in my thinking on it, that if a person doesn't feel like they belong, and for years, I have not felt like I belonged, right? And this is a much bigger topic, so just stick with me here for a few more moments, and I will definitely be sharing more on this topic and like dedicating the whole month of June to it. If a person does not feel, does not know that they belong, and this is like at an existential level, right? If they don't know in their being, in their selves, that they belong, then we're going to see their behavior is going to demonstrate the outcry of not belonging. And the feeling of not belonging is going to come out in all areas of their life. And that is literally what we're seeing all over on center stage right now in so many different ways. Being able to look at things through the lens of belonging opens up such amazing levels of insight, like amazing levels of insight. When we're able to really step back and look at like the huge big picture. For those of you that know and love me already, I use the term big picture often. It's just so fitting for so many conversations. But when you look at the huge aerial view through the lens of belonging, it answers the questions of so many topics. We have slapped on all kinds of labels to various parts of uncomfortable and fear and shame. But really, when you narrow it down, like the issues are really very much rooted in the same core issues and the same core feelings, no matter which issue we're dealing with, which I, as someone who studies people's behavior, I continue to be surprised that is true, that statement actually is true in every way that I see it so far, that the core of the issues and the struggles that we experience as humans are actually rooted in just a very few concepts and feelings. So anyway, these fish are still circling here, same space, and like I said, I think really gave me a moment to pause and reflect and consider both of those topics. Do you know who you're following? And is the person that you're following, persons who you're following, do they know where they're going? Do they have a clear vision of where they are headed? And are they the type of leader that is truly helping its followers, their followers, to truly become the more of who those followers are meant to be? Or are they simply expecting them to replicate and become mini versions of the leader? Know who you're following and know which one of those you really want for yourself. Do you want to become a mini replica of someone else? Or do you want to truly be connected to your unique divine purpose here on the planet? So those two topics. All right, you guys. For those of you that are still with me, you are seriously badass. Just for hanging in and listening to this whole message. Absolutely love bringing my messages to you as my inspiration and insight happens. And love your feedback. Love your thoughts. Love to have the open dialogue to make a space for people to be able to share and reflect how you resonate, what makes sense, what doesn't make sense, how you agree, how you disagree, for this to be a space where we can have that kind of conversation. So, as you all know, I've now announced it and said I am starting a group, mastermind of sorts, to gather people who are looking for a leader, someone to hold them accountable, someone to push them beyond their limits, someone to challenge their thoughts, challenge their thinking so that they can become the best versions of themselves, as I like to call it, the most liberated badass leader that they can be. Not many replicas of me. Whoa. But the leader that they are meant to be. So reach out to me. There's 1,000 ways to get in touch with me. Pick one and reach out if you're one of those liberated badass leaders in waiting and you want to be connected, you like my vibe, you want to be in a small group and be connected to others, would love to have you. And for everyone else, take in this message and let it sink into your pores and let it help you to manage and to thoughtfully consider all the issues that we are dealing with right now in the world. And may it push you further. Ultimately, at the end of the day, that really is my message, is my hope, my reason for getting on here is to push you further than where you are right now. So thank you for being with me. Thank you for sharing space. Thank you for your time. And in the meantime, go do that thing you most want to be doing today. And I'll talk to you soon.